right, what's happening? So listen, we got qualifying three took place, practice three, qualifying took place. My bad. And today we had the results come out from the FIA investigation due to the findings in the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, where Michael Massey, Jonathan Wheatley, Christian Horner, Max Verstappen benefited. These findings, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say they should have been different. I think they are a little bit murky, not as to what they're stating they're going to do moving forward, but there's a particular wording in here that definitely strikes me as odd because it seems like the FIA and Formula One don't want to admit, like, yo, he was wrong. Like, he was wrong. He fucked up. Because if they do that, then they seriously charge the urge for fans and people who know what happened was wrong to basically be reversed. Like, people are going to want to see Max stripped, and Max fans are not going to want to see that happen. It didn't happen to Alonso during a whole situation which we all know was directly wrong, with people being found out and the wrongdoing being uncovered due to PK being fired. You know how that goes. So I'm going to go over these main changes. And of course, we'll have to dive deeper into the regulations and see maybe all the fine print and fine tuning. But I'm going to go over some of these right here. And, it's just funny that they bring these out right before. Like, they bring these out now, and then practice threes still coming, qualifying still coming, and then we got the first race tomorrow. I think that was really strategically done in order to basically, when organizations do things like this, when they bring out like major developments like this, where they know everybody's waiting to see like who's wrong, like what should have happened, what didn't happen, they bring it out in a situation to basically for it to come out, and then you have a lot of things that are going to come out that people are going to show high interest in. Like, everybody wants to see what's going to happen in practice three. Everybody wants to see who's really going to unveil their power in their car or release it in qualifying, because that's the time where you're going to do it, unless you're just going to wait until race day, which ain't a great idea. Everybody's going to be tied up in what happens in the first race. So organizations that strategically do things like this, that really cheat you on fully digesting it, they're trying to kind of put it out so it's then covered up almost immediately. So let's go over this. So it says we don't have to, Max won, overtaking the title rival Lewis Hamilton, and we all know how that took place. I wish they would really use context when they explain this, right? Like, because very few people do admit to the context that Max was only able to overtake due to an impartial implementation of rules that was wrong. 5 cars to unlap, 2 cars told not to unlap, which is not how that's supposed to go. The safety car doesn't finish up its finaling lap. There's still a safety issue on the track. So I wish they would put it in context, but they don't do that for a reason, right? Because totally admitting that admits they're wrong, and then they have to deal with the Max situation. So the key findings right here, we'll just scroll on down. All right, so they're going to come up with the recommendations. So basically 4 recommendations that they're listing here. Now I'm going to go deeper into the document to see if there's anything else, but these recommendations also, we're looking for, what do you say about Michael Massey in this whole situation? So let's go back up for that, right? So the key findings, let's go over the key findings first. The report found the racer director's responsibility should be divided and assigned to other persons to reduce the workload of the race director and allow them to focus on their key functions, including managing of controlling the race. What they really should have said there is, we're not going to give one individual the power to dictate or change the effects of an entire race. It needs to be done by committee, so that they have to basically come together, decide what's the best option. You have a collective of minds that see different perspectives and hopefully come up with a good choice, right? That's what they should have said. Like, this shit right here just already starts kind of like, we don't really want to say he's wrong. So next, regarding the ability of team principals to speak directly to the race director, the report found communications between, on one hand, F1 teams, and on another hand, the race director during a race out ought to be restricted so that the race director would be free to perform her crucial role without unnecessary disruption and distraction. Okay, I agree with that, right? I agree with there should be some buffer there so that, you know, we can give them some time to do what they need to do. But I mean, the time was not the problem. Like, Michael Massey had plenty of time. Like, there's still a safety issue. You had plenty of time for these cars to do laps, right? I mean, let's not kid ourselves here. We saw a few races ago before that where you had a similar situation and you red flagged the race. You brought all cars in, everybody reset, some cars made repairs or did whatever they were going to do, and you restarted the race. Why are we, that right there, this whole little meeting thing of not finishing under the safety car was alleviated with red flag the race and then bring it back on, right? It's not what you did. You had plenty of time. You had plenty of time to talk to and hear Christian Horner's protest about, no, you only need, we heard all the audio. Bro, the time is not the problem. The problem is you listen to your homeboy, Christian Horner, and you made the decision to benefit Red Bull and you let him call the shots instead of you calling the shots. Time was not the issue here. The third section focused on the safety car and lapping procedure. The report found that the process of identifying the lap cars used to be a manual process. For 2022 season, a software has been developed that will automate the communication of the list of cars that must unlap themselves. That wasn't an issue either. All cars that the leader lapped, any cars that the leader lapped, shall unlap themselves. Hamilton lapped 7 cars. Max only lapped 2 of those cars of the 7. It doesn't matter what Max unlapped, right? Because he's not the leader. Hamilton is the leader. Hamilton lapped 7. That means 7 cars should have unlapped themselves. That means when those 7 cars completed that unlapping, then the safety car finishes a final lap. Your meeting is not in the regulations. That's another reason why, if that was the case, you should have red flagged the race. Or you should have left the field as is and continued the race and brought the safety car off once the track's hazard situation was cleared. There was a safe condition. You didn't do that. Last week, the FIA tweaked the sporting regulations, swapping any for all. In the article now reads, all cars that have been lapped by the leader will be required to pass the cars on the lead lap and the safety car. The interpretation of the rules, swapping any for all, is like you're saying he's wrong, like, right? They're doing these little things or nuances to try to be like, okay, but without saying Michael Massey fucked up. He messed up. He called the race wrong and delivered an output that was manipulated and artificial. That's not how it should have went. Just say that. Like, nobody's buying this bullshit that you're doing. Like, cool, update and revise the rules, improve the system, improve the procedures, but don't come out with this weak ass handed like, don't want to say he was really wrong, but this is what we're going to do going forward. Stop this shit, man. So we got the basically 4 recommendations. You see the assistant race director, they're going to do the VAR. Radio communications live by all TVs should be removed in order to protect the race director from any pressure and allow him, it should have said or her because they did that before. Why didn't put him or her again, to take decisions peacefully? Okay, so us not hearing the broadcast, because we don't chime in on the race director. Are we sitting at home with mics and headsets to talk to Michael Massey? No, he doesn't even hear from us. He doesn't even hear from the audience watching the TV. So we're not adding any pressure to the race director's lives or decisions. Now, it might be the team principals or anybody else, Christian Horner, Toto Wolff, if you want to say that, but we're not adding any pressure. Like, stop that. Stop it. So then, unlapping procedure, we went through that. Any new race management team has been put in place starting the Barcelona for test session. DTM race director, and so basically this whole team they put in place by committee. All right, bam, we know this. Now we are going to go down to this section, and it states in a statement, the FIA said the World Motorsport Council unanimously endorsed the contents of this report, and FIA will continue in its work to implement the recommendations identified as soon as possible. The statement added that the report finds that the race director was acting in good faith, while stating that due to the fact the manual interventions generally carry a higher risk of human error, software has been developed that will from now on automate the communications of the list of the cars that must be unlapped. What is this bullshit? What is this bullshit? What is this bullshit? You waited all that time to say that little bit of bullshit. Where is the transparency of we made an error? We made an error. Like, cut all the crap out. Like, cut all the crap out. You made an error. Right now, I'm not speaking about Lewis being cheated. I'm not speaking about Max capitalizing from a decision made from governing body officials. I'm speaking about integrity within the organization. If you can't do that, then we know going forward, we should know already, right? Who news just not too long ago they let come back? LaFabio? Come on now. I understand like second chances, but right now, like what is going on? Like that right there shows me like, okay. And it's not the first time. It's probably not going to be the last time. This is what Formula One does, right? We've had several situations where we've seen that Formula One has failed to uphold an integrity type system. Like y'all, you attribute it to Liberty Media, but was Liberty Media in control of Formula One during the PK, the crash gate? I don't think so. Go back and check the stats, but I don't think they were. If they were, then okay, you got me, but I don't think so. Off first thought, I don't think so. So it's not solely Liberty Media. Come on now. And y'all other you UK, like not all my UK people, because a lot of y'all cool. Specific people from UK. Stop all this bullshit about Americans shouldn't be involved in Formula One. Where do you think Liberty Media is from? I mean, you gonna tell citizens from the country that live in and that the company that owns Formula One now, we can't watch Formula One? Like, stop that. Like that right there goes further to show some of the ignorance. You got your perspectives, I got mine, we got ours. But at the end of the day, this report tells us more than you know about the integrity of the governing body. You could have, it's simple words. We fucked up. This is what we're going to do so that we do not fuck up anymore in the future. That something as monumental as a driver achieving a goal that he earned in that race, because y'all got to stop that too. Max had more wins. And listen, how many teams have we seen? They don't have the same amount of wins going into a championship. The point is they earn the right to be in the championship. And the team that always has the most wins doesn't come out on top. Max wasn't coming out on top. His performance in that race was being gapped by 10 to 14 seconds. Without the massive manipulation, he doesn't win the race. So cut that bullshit out without, he had to. Nobody's saying that he didn't deserve to be in the championship. He deserved it. If he didn't earn the points, he wouldn't have been tied up with Lewis. If Lewis didn't earn the points and do his driving, he wouldn't have been tied up with Max. Or they wouldn't even been close. Even if they were 2 points off from each other, it still goes either way. Even if they go into that championship 5 points off from each other, it still can go any way. But they were tied. So basically that's 0-0. So anyway, that's the report. That's the findings. First race week. See what happens. See where these teams end up. We got all types of stuff happening. I will be coming out with another video as to other topics, but I had to go ahead and get this one out so we can get through this and keep moving on, press on. Move on with the season, move on to these cars developing, move on to basically testing is still going on. Like these cars are still testing. Like this practice has still been like testing, if you haven't noticed. So let's see what happens. Race day after the race, promptly, I will come on live. We'll have a discussion, try to, talk about what happens, see what we see. I'm excited to see what happens. I'm still a motorsports fan. I'm still a fan of Formula One. I'm still a fan of multiple drivers, including Lewis Hamilton. If you see my other video, y'all need to cut this shit out talking about you racist if you like Lewis Hamilton because you're black. Like, you're racist for even saying that shit. Like, that's a dumbass statement. But anyway, y'all know what I say. Just build it. Peace. Thanks for tuning in and watching another video here at Wolfpack Performance. Check out some of my other content on Formula One issues, our topics, and our DIY products on how to customize your vehicle. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. See you soon.